layers.
Yeah, it's a very weird feeling, but to be on Bash Bros, it's just like my friend found out and she was like, fuck, my boyfriend found out and he was like, what? He was the one that introduced me to you guys. He was like, you've got to listen to them. They're foul mouth, banter, they're fucking brilliant. So I started listening to you and I was like, I just love you and I think you're amazing and you're so funny and yeah, it's good. So thank you for
you said you stay around positive people and with foul
And you watch us.
Yeah, but no, you can just say, now you say pro, and everyone's like, pro. It's like, yeah, it's Miami pro, but they don't know.
Yeah, I'm a GBO pro, I'll have you know.
Yeah, fucking pro, mate.
At least Carly's a real pro. We can
Yeah, I know.
I mean, get a bit of credibility.
I just think we should get Carly's Instagram up and just talk about her glutes.
Yeah, well, you actually. I was gonna bring that up.
Oh, you stopped the recording. More recordings.
I do apologize, but
You're not going to edit that out. That's the best bit. The piece they only.
I'll use that bit of the recording, and then that was about it.
But I would send you a few messages. I knew you were on prep, so I didn't make them long. They were usually just fuck.
One word.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Because the conditioning on this lady is completely insane for anyone, let alone a female.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you did put it in.
Disgusting. I loved it. I love seeing shit like that because it just shows that you have got what it takes to just die in a bush.
To die in a bush.
That's what you've got to do. To do that, and to get that level of conditioning, especially as a female from the back, you have to die. There's no shortcut to that.
Where's all your photos from the show?
If you go back up and then go onto the pinned one, so the first one where that one, there should be some like 10 pictures within that one.
There we
like that.
Look at that.
The dryness.
Yeah. So that was off of off the pictures from them. So it's do you know what though? It's not until have you seen the lady that came first, Anne?
I think we did put it in the group, but I think Dan put it in the group as soon as you came on.
Honestly,
there was that. No, that was the. Are you talking about the pro girl?
Yeah, the one who came first. She obviously has been to the Olympia. Like
the black girl.
No, that's Barbara.
Okay, yeah, no, that was the different. I shared someone different. That was Figure, wasn't it?
No, I can't remember. I know you definitely shared Carly's like.
Yeah, I shared Carly's in the group and just said, fuck!
Yeah.
Dean still can't work the fucking phone.
Hey.
Sideways.
Fuck's sake.
It's what
10 episodes in. Like he's hanging a picture. We've got the bird's eye view to hanging a picture.
And he's on
Does this look good?
But, no, I don't think we know the girl who won. The one that who did I share? It was Meg's character. Obviously, Meg looked phenomenal. I'm a huge Meg fan anyway. I think that she's Figure.
Oh, you're on about God, I can't remember her name, but I was that. Oh God, I can't remember.
The girl who won that is Ronnie Coleman of the female.
Yes. She's called, I think she's called like Lola or something.
Yeah, and her waist is like this,
tiny,
and she just goes. I was just crazy. I mean, I was blown away with the whole thing. I think the Arnold stuff was quite light in the amateurs, but the pro show was just amazing. What an amazing thing to happen in the UK again.
I mean,
and sorry.
Go on. For me, I just don't want to take away from the fact that it was your debut as a pro, and you turned up inside out. You did everything you could to make a good account for yourself, and you absolutely did that.
That was the thing. Like because I'd won my pro card like 9 weeks prior, I couldn't get any bigger. So it was like, right, what can I do in this 9 weeks. I can bring condition. That's the only thing that I can do. However, I did come in slightly fuller, but conditioned as well. Obviously, we'd had like a little
You
bit of
fucking nailed it. You fucking nailed it. And it was dry. It was grainy. It stood out for me. That's why I was sharing it on the group. I was like, the conditioning and stuff. And like you said, in that short period, you're not going to put any mass on. It's done. That's for another time. All you need is time. Waits for no man. Like, so all you need to do is do bigger and do that again, and you're going to start taking fucking scalps. No way.
It was good because when I was there, like backstage, you're getting your tan on, and I was stood next to the lady who came first. She's from France. She's called Anne. Try to get her up. She was massive. When I was stood next
What's her last name?
And I think it's Mohn, Mohn.
Let's see if
she was her glutes. You think I was shredded with glutes? She's got they're from like up halfway up her back down to halfway down her legs.
I've got her.
Can you see her? She's crazy. So she's been to like Olympia for like 4 times. But I was like, please don't put me in her group. I was in her group. Look at her.
Yeah, she's got some mad shots.
Yeah, she is crazy. So we were messaging because I've been following her for a while. A lot of them, when I knew who I was coming up with, when I got the pro card and the invite, I started following them all, like you do. And then from that, I then started messaging her, and she was really, really nice. And I was like, oh my God, look at her. I think she's 10 weeks out from the Olympia.
She's got no waist.
Yeah, no, with it looks photoshopped.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, no. Do you know when someone, like obviously, I'm not taking it away from her that she's massive, but like the whole, like, because she has huge quads, it makes her just her waist look even more tiny.
Yeah.
She is,
Absolutely bonkers. So, without getting away from our usual format, hi Dean, by the way.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thanks for dropping by.
Well, I just dropped it. I'm finished now. I'm off now.
So yeah, what we normally do. Look, you've watched our podcast over the 2 years we've been doing it now. You're one of the pros that follows along, which we do appreciate, by the way. What we ask for is a whistle stop tour of up to now, I guess. What got you there? What got you into the bodybuilding? Yeah, I mean, you vaguely touched on the fact that you turned pro just 9 weeks before, but give us the run up to that.
So, God, I have been competing since 2006.
You've got mute right there.
My it keeps coming in and out my ears. Since 2016, and I was in tone figure. That's why I started. My first competition was NABA West.
NABA West.
Do you know what I always say to people? If your bodybuilding always starts at NABA, like that level, and it was the most surreal thing ever. I didn't know nothing about bodybuilding, like nothing. I'd never watched a show. It was. My tan was shit. I had the wrong bikini. I was so nervous. And it was a proper bodybuilding 101, like chicken and rice and broccoli like 6 times a day. It was hard. It was really hard. But I kind of moved on from then, had a year off. It was quite a bit of a bad breakdown after, from like, I was with a boyfriend who kind of didn't want me to bodybuild. He didn't understand it, didn't want me to do it. Just thought that I wanted to bodybuild because I wanted to stand on stage in a bikini and show my ass off. So the relationship started breaking down towards the end, and we split up. I went then on probably about a 6-month bender on the sesh, just went a bit crazy after, and then I kind of brought it back around and realised bodybuilding was something that I really loved and I wanted to pursue. So I went on then to do Mr. and Mrs. Plymouth, which is, you also know Paul Scarborough because you had one here, didn't you? So he used to be the judge down there. And then I went through Southwest, and a lot of feedback from the judges was, you have really good structure on your legs. You now need to kind of think about pushing up to the next, which was trained. So I went away and had a really big off season and grew some shoulders and a bit of back, and then went into trained.
A bit of back.
A bit
A bit.
A bit of back, but back then, yeah, I would say it's more now, more back. But back then I went to trade and I won the Southwest. Got an invitation to the British finals.
Was that 2018?
Yes, the Southwest 2018. Yeah. And then I did another NABBA that year. It was like weeks after, and then then 2019. Yeah, it was the British finals came out of.
I think, Carly, I think your microphone's still coming through your speakers because as you're moving it around, it's coming away.
Right here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you know what? I don't actually. I bought these special because I wear. I wear tins in the gym, like big tins, and I thought I can't sit here with my tins on. So yeah, I bought these and they're not staying in my ears. What I might do is come off of these and then into the actual. Is that all right? Shall I just try?
Yeah, go on. If
is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Dean does his by carrier pigeons, isn't it? All right.
Just send one over. You'll get it in a moment.
So yeah, and then from there went to the British finals came fifth out of it. It was about 12 ladies, so I was really chuffed with that.
That was the same year, right?
That was 2020. Oh. Yeah, no, to guess, no, it was the year. Was it the year after? No, the finals was the year after. Yeah,
2019.
Southwest is 2019. 2018 to 2019, and then I was supposed to do. What happened then? We're supposed to go to the universe. That was it. I did the finals. We were supposed to go to the universe. Then we ended up going into lockdown. And then it obviously all went to shit and then came out the other end. And then when I knew that I wanted to go to the finals and it was going to get like pretty serious, that's when I kind of invested in a because I've always actually prepped. My first prep coach was Dan. Have you heard of Body 2000 in Exeter?
Yeah.
Pat. Yeah. So Pat. She was my first ever coach. But then the more serious I got, the more I wanted to actually invest in the coach because I just prepped myself, and you could probably see by my pictures that I prepped myself as well. And then I went with Bob Waterhouse. He was my first before he was even on the scene as like a big pro. Yeah. He was my first, and he got me into like that was the first time I had got till that point in proper condition. And then so I did, and that's when I came fifth. So I did really, I did well, and then then I went on to get Amanda, which was the condition coaches, and then from there went into physique, and then last year did the 2 bros. First ever time did 2 bros. I wasn't even thinking about doing 2 bros, but she said just jump on and see what you think of it. And then when I got onto that one, it's like everything boomed last year, and people were like, "Fuck, who are you? Where have you come from?" You go for a pro card. Because I just do bodybuilding because I love bodybuilding. It's funny because when I first met my boyfriend, probably like 3 years ago, he used to be like, "Oh, so he used to talk about like Jay Cutler, and he used to say all these names and Dorian Yates," and I'm like, "Who are these people? I don't know who they are." He's like,
"The gym.
You're a fucking bodybuilder. You don't know who these are." And I'm like, "Oh," but obviously I know now. And obviously the more into it I'm getting, the more about the sport I obviously know now. So and then last year there was a lot of feedback from the show saying you need to see if you can get your pro card because you just, you're kind of up there with your physique. So then took another 8 months off to grow, because again the feedback is always about my quads and my lower, just it being so big that it's dominating my physique. So last year just went to 1 leg training and then just did push pull 1 leg, just 5 and just got bigger through the upper, which worked. So and then obviously that's only this year I did the MK Classic and came second against Debs, and then 2 weeks later beat Debs, got my pro card, and then went on to do my
redemption.
Yeah, do you know what? It's horrible, but yeah. But yeah, it was.
Someone has to, for every loss, there's a win, and it's whoever's telling the story. Obviously, like with Debs, that's awful. But
I don't know if you ever saw the pictures but it was such, you're gonna get it in bodybuilding, aren't you? Where you like. I was bigger, harder, more conditioned, and it was like fuck, how did you not call that as first? And obviously she came over me, and then I got feedback from the judge, which I can't even remember his name, but I got the feedback, and he said, basically, you surpassed the regional criteria. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, you pitched a pro qualifier perfectly, but you surpassed. And I was just like, how can you surpass a criteria? If you surpass it, honestly, I was like screenshotting it, sending it to Amanda. She was like, I don't get it. So I was just like, oh,
That's not a thing.
I know, you just win if you surpass it.
That's not a thing. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't. So
we looked at the scorecards, went blind.
That's what I won 2 weeks after, and we stepped on stage again together. I was like, right. So yeah, so it was cool.
But did you have to like tone it down a bit to win your pro card, and then
as well? Do you know what? Someone actually said a feedback from a coach. I'm not going to start naming people because it was a coach of an athlete. They said that I need to stop training glutes because all you can see is glutes and legs when I stand on stage. You need to stop training them for 6 months and I was like, surely that's what physique is. Legs, glutes, like it's the whole package. So yeah, stop. That's all you can see when you turn around on your back to bicep is your glutes. I was just like, yeah.
I think it's disgusting and bullshit. First of all, you smash the fucking show and they say you're too good to win, so you don't win.
That's not a thing. That doesn't exist. That's not a...
To me, that was because you were giving out swords to people that you wanted to give them out to.
Yes. And I know that you should be symmetrical, you want the perfect look on stage. But I used to get all the time, people say to me, your shoulders and quads are too big. You need to downsize. No, your fucking glutes and quads are not too big. The rest is too small. You've got to bring it up. You don't have to stop training them, do you? They're your fucking, that's what pops you off on stage.
I would rather that someone said that. Yeah, judges have said that before. Like, your legs are kind of a bit too big. You need to take time off and do that. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to go off and I'm going to do that. Not stop training them.
Yeah. Don't downsize them. Let the rest catch up, innit?
Yeah, totally. So that's the plan this year as well.
That's what people are looking at. They're drawn to you because of those body parts. They're really popping out. And they're standing out from the rest. So,
can you imagine getting like Marcus Rule and going, like, your chest and legs and everything is all too big for your triceps. So could you just downsize everything just for your triceps?
Just bring your triceps.
Just everything.
It's fucking mental. Just one more thing I wanted to say before you went on. I don't know about you guys. Whenever I watch the women's category, we talked about this when I went to the Olympia 50th anniversary. The guys were just unbelievable. They was impressive. The women come on, I was just lost for fucking words. The condition of the women, they always seem to come in better than the guys. And I don't know if it's because of their proportions and their tiny waists and the joints, but they just look so fucking impressive. Like that picture you just showed, that goal, it looked like she had a 12-inch fucking waist because the proportions are crazy. Like, this is what should be being pushed more in the sport. This is fucking crazy. Not stick thin bikini bullshit and all that crap.
Well, the main point there is that did the women get better, or has condition taken a knock at the highest level? I think it's rhetorical, the question. Yeah. Like, I think that condition isn't as important for the men as it has been in the past, and the women are like still carrying the sword. Like, for the condition.
In America, so a bit more size, and they're all test based on the drugs, so they come in not with an ounce of fat, but a bit watery, don't they? Europeans are normally a lot harder and drier with the stacks they're using.
Yeah,
but for yourself, how do you fucking get that condition? It's crazy. Like I did a lot of the girls that killed themselves. Well, what you turned up as was very impressive. I have a massive respect for anyone that gets on stage in that kind of condition because it's fucking hard.
Give us a day in the life of when you were in the trenches to get that.
Do you know what? It's hard because do you know when you're on prep and you're fucked, but you're thriving off fuck? So I didn't think I was fucked. And so many people, I was about 2 weeks out and there was a guy in the cross trainer and a song was on because I work in a gym. And I'm going over to him like, dancing up to him and he went, how many fucking weeks out are you? And I went, 2 weeks. He was like, how are you doing that at 2 weeks? And I was just, I get like quite delirious with it as well.
Yeah. The
Like,
adrenaline takes over.
And you're just like, so yeah. People like,
I find there's a point of prep, like when you're like that, which actually is quite, like, there's some clarity there. Like, do you know what I mean? I think the hormonal balance, like, there's some times where, like, and it's not an all day thing, obviously riding waves, like, for sure. I'm
some days
seeing like,
more.
Seeing like, but the chemical of the like the adrenaline and everything, you're running off different fuel systems.
Yeah. Like, I think as well, it probably really helps that I work in a gym and I coach people, I coach classes. So from 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll be either doing a class so I'd always get my cardio done at 5 o'clock in the morning. So it was done, that was it. I didn't have to think about it the rest of the day. I'd be teaching class at 6, PT at 7. I'll be then eat my breakfast, another 2 PT clients. So like, and then I just like fluidity through the day. I'd come home, eat, nap, go back out, train, clients, class. So when you're around people, when you're around the gym and you're around the buzz and you got the music, I really think that like helps. Whereas if I was in a 9 to 5 job at a desk, I couldn't think of anything worse. Because I love being in the gym and I love being around the clients. So I think that massively helped me in prep, hugely. I don't think you got time to feel like fucked.
I think that's a woman thing though. Like for men, it's like the opposite. Being around people and on prep is like hell.
Maybe it's just people.
I genuinely think it is. I think it is, honestly. Because there used to be a guy who was on prep and he would walk around like, oh, and I was just like, I don't get it. Why are you like that? Why are you not happy? Whereas he'd be like, why are you happy?
I won't claim to have always been happy on prep, but there was something about going to work as a teacher. I have to leave that at the door. Don't get me wrong. I would stare at that door for 10 seconds before I walked in. And I'd put my teacher hat on.
Deep breath. Put a smile on.
And I'd walk in and I've got to be as energizing as I can for the students. And actually, like, knowing that is a non-negotiable as well, this is my life as a teacher, like, I think that's something that I'll miss. Like, I think, like, just, like...
I'm in the same boat. I'm the same boat as you now, Dan. Like, with my job, being in a professional job, it's not allowed to sort of seep over. There just can't be any crossover. Yes, and also sometimes in meetings, I have to quickly press mute before I outburst because I know it's coming, and there is I can't like not outburst, so I have to just mute myself. And they're like, "Sorry, John, you're on mute." And I'm like, by that point, I've managed to mellow it out. So there's techniques in ways I've had to deal with it, but in a
you've got Tourette's.
Yeah, exactly. Things start.
Okay.
I completely agree with what you just said. But yeah, no, and it's the ways of dealing with it. And I mean, there's also another aspect of it. I know people who work in a gym, and they fall out of love with bodybuilding quite quickly. So I'm not sure how I would deal with it. But I definitely think the whole sort of thriving off the energy thing in a gym is definitely more of a woman thing than it is a man thing. And I find the whole sort of cutting yourself, like the drawing the line in the sand, right, I'm starting work. And then when work is off, I am literally so far the other way. Do you know what I mean? I just want to be left the fuck alone. So I go to the gym now and yeah, it's I'm that guy you were just describing.
I can relate with both.
But at least you're honest.
I think it's the people you're around in it. Because when I was prepping, if I'm around people that have been there and done that and they understand it, I'm happy as fuck. They understand, they don't cross the boundaries. You just good atmosphere. Soon as you get around normal people and they start
the people at the shop. The people you put trolleys back in, and you're like, fucking hell.
Oh my God. I remember, one year I was prepping and I used to work security. One of the clubs I was working at was one of the strip clubs. And I'd have my meals. I'd have some fucking shitty chicken breast and some broccoli for my last meals. I can't have any carbs. And I'm there, it's all weighed out, and it's all perfect. And I sit down, I'm looking forward to this fucking meal. Then all the girls start coming around, and they got all these pizzas and kebabs and all this shit all around me. Okay, I can blank it out. There with my broccoli. Then they start leaning over. Oh, what you got there? Oh, can I have a bit of that? Trying to get I said, you touched my fucking broccoli. I'm going to take it off your fucking arm and eat it. They don't understand. Like,
it's funny because I used to have
knives at him in the kitchen.
At work, I used to eat my meal at the same time. It was in the therapy room, and everyone who came in through that door knew, don't speak to Carly when she's like, this is my food. This is my 10 minutes with my food. Leave me alone. That's it. Like every meal.
The strip club, they soon learned when it was my meal time, I'd walk in the kitchen, you just see all these bodies scamper. There's gone.
Have his food.
It's worth mentioning that Dean wasn't always the crystal wielding hippie that he is now.
Yeah.
I'm a very, very different man to I was back then.
I will say though that this time around, I probably felt this was probably the first year getting in this condition and holding the condition so long, because it was 12 weeks between the MK and then 2 weeks after was the finals, and then it was 9 weeks until Arnold. So holding and pushing for more condition. Even my boyfriend said to me, Carl, you're different, like you're really different. And he said, and if you want to not see me for the next 8 weeks, you don't have to.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, holding show to show is the worst.
Yeah, and I was probably a little bit less. Even my clients would say to me now, they were like, Carly, you're quite direct anyways, but you're normally fluffy direct with your words, and if we're doing whatever, then you'll just beat around the bush. But they said like you were just so brutal with your words. You had no patience for anyone who would veer off their diet, or if they were, do you know what I mean? They were like, you just were on it. And I was like, sorry. But to be fair, such a good amount of people there. Sorry, go on.
No, go on. Just what I want to do before, because we have got quite a few questions for you, which was quite nice. And some of these questions have been boxed off from what you've just said there. But before we go down that rabbit hole, what I want to know is what was the feedback from the Arnold, and what is the plan next? I'm guessing it's to go away and get massive, but yeah, I obviously just want to understand where your head is at before we get too lost in these questions.
So the feedback from the judge was it was just one judge. He said I needed a little bit more lower lats, which I can see when you look at it. I've got a lot of detail through my upper and like around, and just a little bit more thickness around the arms, and just, yeah, they didn't say my legs were too big or anything like that, but it was more lower lat, and I think more ab as well, because I don't have very big blocky abs, whereas if you looked at them, I carry a lot of water in my waist area. I think because I don't have any muscle, like big, thick, blocky abs, where the water tends to, carbs go straight to my legs and water tends to go straight to my waist. So it was just really that, but there wasn't too much. It wasn't too much that I could think, oh, fuck, that's a bit. It was just a little bit more lower lat. So a bit more thickness in the arms. I need to grow my biceps as well. I had like 2 years where I couldn't train them because I had really bad elbows and like tendon problems. So my biceps need to be brought up. So just a little bit more thickness really around the upper. So the plan now as well is to compete in either the Romania or the Alicante, but I've been told that the Alicante one are taking away physique as well now. So yeah, Amanda my coach is going over there this year, and she was going to do figure, and they were even taking figure out as well. Yeah, I know. So that's in November next year. So just
is there any risk of women's physique going down the women's bodybuilding route? Is there?
It's so hard because when you look at the lineup from the Arnolds, I kind of feel sometimes, and when you see the figure physique, I think there's quite a bit of blurred lines at the moment with everything. Like Megan Sylvester, when you look at Meg, she's great physique. She's massive. She's huge. If she stood next to me, I just had a little bit more condition, which would obviously mean like I was obviously in physique, but I just think there's very blurred lines at the moment for females. Very, very blurred for like size. Do I get massive? Like the next one, is that pushing me then into the next category? So yeah, I'm not too sure, because with it, is bodybuilding not a thing now? I don't think it is it? I think
they've kind of stepped away from it again, haven't they?
They tried to reintroduce it, but having had it on the gone for so long, there were no competitors. They didn't exist because they didn't want to spend the time in building it again, which makes no sense because you can't just go click. Can we have female bodybuilders now when no one's been training for it because it doesn't fucking exist? And then not spend time actually building the category, which is what they should have done.
Is that just a thing in the UK with bodybuilding?
No.
I think another thing is that they wanted to make it less masculine, but then just basically all the same bodybuilders came out of retirement and were like, yeah, we'll do the show. So it was the same women that were doing women's bodybuilding before that stepped back in
30 years ago. Iris Carr was like, I'm in.
Do you think the women's side really get fucking screwed over because they keep changing rules? I don't understand the rules. Back in the day, it was just fucking fitness or bodybuilding. Basically, it was easy. You knew exactly what you're going into. Now especially the amateurs, they turn up to a show. They don't even know how they need to be on stage because there's no actual clientele to how you need to be. After the fucking judges don't even know what they're judging, they just make it up on the day. Like, I don't know how the fuck you do it because how can you win at a game you don't know the rules of?
I think as well with what I bring to stage. Like someone said to me, "Oh, you're like what you just said. Oh, you're going to get massive." There's only so far for me that I'm willing to take my physique and what I'm willing to push to get there as well, even if that meant never placing first. And I know it sounds really weird because I love bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding. I love getting on stage. I love the process of prepping. I love seeing where I can take my physique next time. So it's not always about winning for me. And I know that sounds like a really weird thing. Like,
not at all.
I want to win. That's my aim, is to get there. But there's only so far that I'm willing to push my physique. And
I completely understand because the guy it's bad enough. Someone will push too much and fuck their health up. But with the women, it's a whole new ball game, isn't it? And if you're pushing things to the extreme and too much, it can really fuck your life up.
It does. And I look at some females and a lot of feedback that I got, I'm not like blowing my own trumpet, but a lot of feedback from people when I came off stage and people that I didn't know, it was just like, you're so feminine. Like, you're so feminine with your hair and your face and your smile. You can see you love it, but you look feminine as well in your face. Whereas some of them, they've gone so far that they lose that, and that's not what we're willing to lose. I don't.
So are you going, whenever you compete, you're purely going to get the best look that you want, not what the judges want? Fuck the judges, fuck the show. You want to win, but you got to do what you want.
If I can go on stage next year and hit what I wanted to do, which was to get a bit more lower lat, a bit more delt, and I look up and I have achieved that, and I fucking enjoy myself on stage, and I bring what I want to bring, which is me and being true to myself, then I'm winning. I'm winning on and off stage as well. And I think, like, for me, winning is not just winning in bodybuilding. I love, like, I know it sounds weird, but the feedback from people, if that makes sense, like winning the people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I say about this all the time is that wanting to win isn't enough. That's not enough of a drive. And I think so many people now just want to do a bodybuilding show to be a winner. That's not enough motivation to go through what you're going to have to do to actually do that. Winning has to be kind of like a secondary outcome for you enjoying smashing.
Yeah.
We've had loads of people on here, and everyone has a reason outside of just wanting to be a champion. You know, it has to be something else. It has to be, because just wanting to be a winner is not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah. I love the fact that people, when they watch my stuff, or they watch me on stage, or they watch my stuff on Instagram, they've messaged me, like, they're like, I literally can feel you through the screen, how much you enjoy it. I can feel the vibes of how much you love it. And I'm like, that for me, up there, is what I love. Like, do you know what I mean? I love it.
You love being on stage the whole show.
People say to me, do you not get nervous? I'm like, no, I love it. They're like, you do not get nervous? I'm like, no. Because 4 weeks prior to going on stage, I was doing the local warm-up for one of the runs. They're called Mitchell, and I was doing a warm-up on a stage with a microphone on in front of 700 people, and I'm like, give me that microphone, get me up there. I just love it.
Get a buzz off that.
Yeah. So I'm not nervous. I've always been like a fitness instructor. I've always taught in front of people, so that aspect doesn't like kind of bother me.
It's not even that though. Like the fact that you were willing, your mind was in that place at that point. Somebody said to me, "Now go up there and do." I get fucked. Get fucked. Not a chance. I mean, the prospect of hosting this podcast tonight was already a daunting one. I'm not going to lie. I signed on. I was like, I hope Dan and Dean are in a talkative mood because I
words in this brain.
Yeah, it's just like a
yeah, I'm very similar to that. I hate attention on me and all that. And then people would say to me, and I'm going to say it to you, why the fuck do you get in front of thousands of people in just your little pants posing?
I mean, I probably need to see a therapist to answer that question, but I'm not willing to unlock that chest quite yet.
What about you, Dan? Do you like getting on stage?
No.
I fucking hated it.
I don't like the stage bit. It's all of the other stuff that I like. I just like setting myself unnegotiable tasks, and I like regimenting my life. Those are the things that make me the happiest. I like things the same. That's why I like moving house.
You're like robot mode.
Dan loves to be miserable.
Yeah, I'm never happier than when I'm miserable. I
am happy because I'm miserable.
I all the things that make you pretty good at bodybuilding is what I like. Like the getting on stage thing, I guess, is
a necessary
a level of a validation that you've achieved those goals. Like that's a kind of a way of doing it. Having markers, their dates in the diary. Do you know what I mean? If the only show, bodybuilding show in the world was the NABBA West and there were 10 people watching, I'd still do that.
Yeah. Because it's just the end product, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And just improving. That's why I've always said, like, if I get on stage and I'm worse, then that's probably time to fucking pack it in.
Are you going to get
stop training? I'd never stop training. I love training. I wouldn't do the other things. And I wouldn't eat huge amounts of food. But the regimental part of my life, my personal hell is like Alice asking what we should eat. Like that's like my personal hell is trying to decide what to eat, and I
outside of your meals.
Yeah. So,
Dan, every human, there's 6 needs that every human has, and every person's different to what order these needs are in. One of them is certainty. Certainty is at the top of your fucking list, and it sounds like if one thing's out of place in your life, the whole fucking world's going to implode upon itself.
That is, you've got me in a nutshell. That is it. It doesn't take much to knock me off, so I don't allow those things to knock me off. I like everything the same.
You're just like my old training partner, Randy. Like if one thing was different in his day, he just have a meltdown. He can't.
You're like on the spectrum, aren't you?
I am.
He is. Dan is the spectrum.
I am. We joke, but yeah, I am.
I am the spectrum.
I am on the spectrum, and it took me a long time to realise that I actually needed something like that, so that my life wasn't absolutely insane, because it was either complete insanity mess or regimented. And I'm much happier in this. Although it looked like I was having much more fun. People now go, "Oh yeah, but you were so much more fun." And I was like, rewind and think about like no one said I was fun when I was turning up and bricking your windows like at 6 a.m. Like no one said that was fun at the time. Like hindsight, it's just a bit of fun. No one. My sister said it to me, and I was like, "Are you joking?" And she was like, "No, actually, no, you were horrendous. You were horrendous human." And so, yeah.
So we all know to compete, and especially at a high level, you have to be fucking mental or insane. You're not wired up right. And we know us 3 are fucking mental. So, Karly, what makes you so mental?
I love this question.
What makes me so mental?
Oh yeah, they call it the why now, don't they?
What's your why?
I don't
what,
even.
What got you into bodybuilding?
Okay, so what I actually never even intended to. I didn't start off and think, oh, I love bodybuilding, I'm going to do a competition. I've always been in the fitness industry since I was about 23, so about 18 years. So I've been lifting weights. Boys used to lift weights with the guys. And then there was this young guy.
What got you into that in the first place? Did you choose to, or is it just something you had interest in?
What, fitness?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ever since I was younger, I've always been like into netball. I used to play. I was talking about netball. Damn, remember when I messaged you about netball? Sorry, I had a dream about Dan playing netball.
Can we make this a real thing, Dan? I want to see you in the
outfit. Has Dan not told you the dream that I had?
No, you should share the dream. I thought it was definitely your story to tell.
Okay, so I had a dream about Dan, and he was playing netball, and he was in a pair of red sparkly trunks, and he shit himself. So then he was playing netball, and the shit was coming out of his pants everywhere. And then there was a hot tub on the side, and he just kind of got in this hot tub, and there was like loads of shit in the hot tub. It was just so weird. But I think it's just watching you guys, because you're so filth with your words. It's just banter. I'd obviously been watching it that day, gone to bed, was talking about netball to someone or whatever. So yeah, anyway.
I think that lends itself to what you were saying, Dean.
Your dream proves that you're fucking mental, because no normal person would have a thought process like that to come up with that. What makes you mental?
So I've always been into netball or physical, like phys ed. And then I always wanted to be a fitness instructor. So as soon as I had my son quite young, I was like 16, 17 when I had my son. And then he went off to school, I went off to education, and then got back into doing a qualification and then going into the fitness industry. So I've always wanted to do it. It's just always been a part of my life. But yeah, and then he just said to me one day, we were in the gym, and he just said, Carly, you should try, he said, you're so, your physique's really good. You've got a good structure. He said, have you ever done a bodybuilding show? And I was like, never. And he said, why don't you just think about it and just try it? And at that time, Body 2000, the only person around that was doing coaching was Pat from Body 2000. So I went to see her, and she said, yeah, I'll prep you. So that was when I did the NABA West 2016. So yeah.
And was that just like a chicken and broccoli diet?
Oh.
I think everybody had to start with the chicken and broccoli.
You know what? It has to be.
Together.
Yeah.
I just think that's all I ever ate was chicken, broccoli and rice. Yeah,
it had to be broccoli though. It couldn't be any other green.
No, it couldn't be like long green beans.
You know, my very first diet was nothing but chicken and broccoli for like 14 weeks, and it was the stupidest fucking thing ever. I lost muscle, obviously, but I was lucky enough to still get into a decent condition, and I won. It was stupid, and anybody listening, don't fucking do the chicken and broccoli diet. But for your first fucking go, it's the best thing you can do to give you that mental strength. Because if you can do the chicken and fucking broccoli diet, any diet after that's easy.
What was Kevin LeBron? Kevin LeBron did fish, didn't he? The American was you do the fish and the broccoli.
Yeah.
They were allowed green beans, and that's maybe why they were allowed the green beans.
He wasn't allowed a rice cake though. Fish and rice.
No rice cakes, no cream of rice. It was illegal. You get on the Olympia stage, and if they heard about you eating a rice cake, it was just in the bin with your scorecard immediately.
Yeah, you know, the tilapia that thins your skin. That stuff.
Yeah, the tilapia. I started eating tilapia as soon as where is this tilapia? I managed to find someone who could get kilos of this tilapia, and I ate it. It wasn't even cheap. And then grits. Have you tried grits? I've got to eat grits. You know how expensive it is to get grits? It's like you may as well go out for a gourmet meal. I think it works out at like £4 a packet once you.
It's like prison slop, isn't it?
And it's fucking shit. It's fucking shit. But if I go to Amp's house, he always has grits. It's like just for special occasions, we might eat some grits to feel like old school.
You got a couple of slices of plastic cheese on it, like Ronnie used to do.
Mate, that makes me shiver. That still makes me shiver.
Love it. Right, let's get stuck into some of these questions then. Okay, so Nico Kovacs, I think her name is. She's put a few within one. So first one is, how long do you train for?
I probably train for about an hour and 15, maybe possibly sometimes. I normally allow myself an hour and a half just because I'm in the gym anyway. I'm in the gym where I work, so you can probably guarantee people are quite respectful, to be honest with you, because I work there. And as soon as those headphones are on, generally they don't.
That's why you got to wear the big ones.
She's training, leave her alone, like respect her space. But I'll always leave a little bit of time when I'm done just to kind of speak to people and just kind of like bounce around. So about an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, hour and 15. Maybe leg day, hour and a half.
Okay. So the next part of the question was what sort of lent you towards competing? We've kind of discussed that. Hardest part on prep. What is the hardest part on prep?
Chicken and broccoli.
I think the fact that I've prepped so much now, I think the more you do it, the easier it gets. I'm not saying it's easy, but what I'm saying is you end up, I can remember my first prep I did, you're like, no, it's hard, fuck off.
38 shows deep, or 37 shows deep, and I'm on my ass. So I
just cope with it better, don't you? You know what
I can remember the first time I did a bodybuilding show, I literally was so encompassed by this bodybuilding show and what I had to do, nothing else mattered. I wouldn't go out, I wouldn't go in with my family for food, I wouldn't go out with anyone. I just become so obsessed with it that I had to do it that way. But then the more I did it, the more I realized I can still go with my family for food. I just take my own food. I've been out on night outs with girls, they go out at 9 o'clock, I'll take a meal in the car, go out for a couple hours with them, and then go back home for like kind of 10, 11 o'clock. I'm in bed because I've got to have my sleep. So I've just managed to kind of work it in a way. But I think this time the hardest thing was probably the training. I love the training. So you get mentally into training, don't you? And you love the training so much. I didn't lose that much strength this time either. Probably 5 kilos towards on most of my lifts, right at the back end of prep. So probably the last 3 weeks. It's probably just the energy, maybe. I still have energy, but not as much energy as I normally have.
I find at the arse end, the training's like the only bit where I feel okay.
That's the thing. I think it's just more the ass end of it, isn't it? That last few weeks is just the hardest bit where you're more in it, aren't you? That's all it is. It's your last.
I'm starting to resent your ability to prep so easily, it seems.
Do you know what? I don't know what it is. It's not that
I know exactly what it is. You're fucking more mental than all of us.
Yeah, she's got to be
it's
more
still
mental.
mentality, isn't it? You can push through anything if you're that mentally strong. It's incredible.
I wouldn't say it's. But I'm not trying to just be like, oh yeah, I don't fucking find prep difficult. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't know. I just. Yeah, so
that's an important part of like the prep and the things that you like. Everyone thinks that the tasks and the goals are physical goals. And
do you know what?
I think that they're mental goals, like more than anything. Like, and in terms of prep getting easy as you go along, that mental part, you know what's coming. At least if you're a first-time competitor, people like messaging me like, "Am I like I felt shit?" And you're like, "Yeah."
I feel hungry.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Like Dan says, just go die in a bush. That's
die in a bush.
He says that to me on a daily basis.
To be honest, probably the hardest bit would probably be the fact that it can impact your relationship and you can't do things that you would normally do. Like, for instance, people chill out on a Friday night with a glass of wine and steak, or they'll go to a restaurant. And you can't do that with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, can you? You still go to the cinema. You just take your own meal to the cinema. But that's probably the hardest bit, is that it can probably just have that little bit of a knock-on effect on your relationship. The other bit is just,
You cope with all this. You're very similar to me. Like, I was a cunt at the start, and I progressively got better. I'm still a cunt, but not as much as one. I found it a lot easier to cope, and like you say, you'll go out and do things. And I got to the point where I could do that. And I found I'd go out more when I'm prepping on days out. I'd pack a bag, all my fucking meal prep.
That's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
Crazy adventures and shit like that. I'm burning more calories because I'm fucking walking around all day.
But when you're a bodybuilder,
focusing on food as well, because you've got your food, you're out the house. I would rather be out the house than in the house.
Because you're not thinking about your food, are you? Active.
Yeah. And that's what I mean about me being in the gym. It made my preps easier because I'm in the gym. I'm not at home like or at a desk thinking about food and having those things. I'm for 2 hours completely distracted with clients, training them, you know, and you're just absorbed. Right, cool, next meal, let's get it in, then let's go back off again. So it became so structured and so robotic that it just become easier. I'm not saying
I think one of the greatest feelings as a bodybuilder is having a backpack with everything you need. Something gives me a buzz of like, because I'll go like, oh my God, I need my the backpack.
When the six-pack bag come out.
Oh, fuck the six-pack bag. They were like 200 quid. It's just a backpack with just an ice pack. They're £1. You can buy them and just put them in your bag. You can do that.
I don't have one of those bags, by the way.
No, fuck those bags.
Yeah, no, I don't. Do you know what? I just have a cool bag. Or I just got a bag and I put ice things in it.
Yeah, imagine that.
Let's not forget, mind, Dan. Carly's another one of these that came into bodybuilding and just went whoop. Like me and you have been doing this since like black and white TVs, and obviously Dean was before that again. So
that's fucking old.
Yeah, Dean would like go around his community centre and watch puppet shows. There was no TV.
So
we had radio.
Yeah.
Wireless. Do you still call it the wireless?
Wind it up.
Right. How do you?
That was like one question. We need to get better at this.
Yeah. How do you deal with negative comments because of your muscular physique?
To be fair, I've not really ever. I've had one instance where a man. There's been a couple, but not. I don't think I'm that. I'm not trying to say I'm not that muscular, but I don't get people saying like, "Oh, yeah."
Who are you comparing yourself to? An average woman on the street or Miss Olympia?
Yeah,
probably after they are knows. I'm actually not that big. I'm like a bikini girl compared to them. But no, once I was on Instagram and my friend had put a picture up of something, and there was some guy who felt the need to obviously give a shit on a picture. So I jumped in and I couldn't help myself and just say he's probably actually wanking over his like whilst he's eating Watsits getting orange fingers. He then proceeded to go to my Instagram, scroll down and take a screenshot of one of my check-ins, then inbox me. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, mate, like that's the only time when there's, you know, the trolls out there. That is not even on my radar. Like, you're just fucking sad. You're probably wanking over me. Like, that's, do you know what I mean? For you to go out of your way to be like, you look like a man, and then take pictures and come onto my fucking Instagram and inbox me, go away. No. But generally, I've been out before and there's been an old lady and I've been walking down the street and she's like, oh, like that at me. But I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I literally don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck. I'll go to Sainsbury's even if it's hot and like whatever I'm wearing, and people stare, don't they? They're gonna stare, but I just think the more fucks.
Does that make you feel good?
Or I am.
Does it make you feel good when people stare? Or do you feel a bit insecure? Or
right, sometimes though there is when people look. Do you know what? Some women will come up to me and be like, "Oh my God, your physique is incredible," and I'm like, "Thank you for coming to me to say that," because not a lot of people say that. They just stare at me, and that can in itself make you think: are they staring at me because they think I'm like wow, or are they staring at me because they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, but so I said, thank you for coming up because not a lot of people, and it does mean a lot for you. She was like, that's all right, it's cool. And then just off on her merry way. But sometimes people look, and then you're like,
you should just turn around,
say something.
Turn around, stare at them, drop your pants, give them a little quad shake, boom!
Boom!
Crack a tile in Sainsbury's, just Jay Cutler.
So yeah, I've never had anyone come onto my Instagram or anything and put anything on my Instagram, because some people get a lot of shit. Some people do get a lot of shit.
I
So
get
I
even
a
Alice
lot
gets-
of shit.
even
I
Alice
get
gets
so
lots.
much shit. Why aren't you getting any? This is not fair.
don't know. I don't know whether, I don't know. I don't get any shit for it. I don't know.
We've just opened the floodgates for that.
Oh yes.
There's this one guy on our YouTube who's got a fucking fascination with abusing us and any person who comes on there, and he's an absolute tosser. So no doubt he'll have something.
What, the guy who abused his hair?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy with the Arnold comment. That was good.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he seems to think.
What was it? Don't you dare ever. What did he say about me? Don't you dare ever embarrass yourself again on stage. Was what he said.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he lifts in gloves. So that was him voided.
I get so many of them, but usually they don't have a picture or it's a false account. So they're probably my best friends. Who knows?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, Dan, he's on to you, bud.
It just fuels the fire more, keeps me trained.
Okay, so I'm guessing you know Georgie Fit because she wrote "P.S. I love you" at the end.
She is a very good friend of mine, Georgie.
So she's written, "What's one thing you feel has pushed you all the way to the IFBB Pro?"
Oh, this girl called Georgie Fit.
She is fit. She's
Let
actually got a competition next weekend. She's got the pro debut for the PCA next weekend. She's looking insane as well. So, what was the question? Sorry, was it what's pushed me towards it?
Yeah.
Does that mean? Do you know what? I've never got into bodybuilding to be a pro. Like I've never thought. A lot of people that I'm around now in the gym, they're like, "I want to be a pro. I want to be a pro. I want to be a pro." And I'm like, whereas mine was quite a. I just started getting really good at bodybuilding, and I found that I could get. What are you laughing at, you twat?
Because I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like I just did it because I was good at it. We're all sat there with like mental illnesses, all fucked up, still doing it when we probably shouldn't. And you're just like, yeah, I did it because I'm just good at it.
I usually find this is the way, don't it? The ones that are shit are like, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia, and they put their life and soul into putting fucking 2 grams of muscle on in 10 years. And the people that like you that just love to fucking train are the ones that have what it takes to get to that kind of level and do because you enjoy it.
I've done so many competitions. Obviously, I've always wanted to win, but it wasn't until last year when I took my physique to, because we've gone into lockdown. And I opened, actually, do you know what? That was where my biggest growth came from. When we went into lockdown, and not the first one, it's the second one, I opened a big container, big storage container, and I filled it full of loads of equipment.
What I did. That's exactly what
And
I
I
did.
did an off season in there, and I swear, right, being in that, and I've spoke to my boyfriend about it, being in that container taught me how to train a different way. Do you know when you're like, in your own head, and I was like on my own, no distractions, and that was the biggest improvement that I'd made that year. And I came out of it with such a bigger physique for it as well. But I think, and then I went on, and because of the feedback last year, it then kind of just happened naturally to go towards that route. Like I've never ever wanted to be a pro, and I'm obviously really thankful that I did get it and I'm there. But you know,
Dan
and Dean have been banging their head for a pro card for so long, and you're like, I never wanted a pro card, but
yeah, I
didn't mean it like that. I didn't want one. I said
everything's fine.
So what you said? What it takes? What got you to get a pro was to lock yourself in a little container for 6 months with no electricity.
Yeah.
Under the ground or something, with no heating, torture yourself for 6 months, and you come out a pro.
It didn't work for Dan.
That's what you gotta do. It's like in a movie, isn't it? When they chuck him in this little hole underground and they get trained and they come back out 6 months
and then I came out.
Oh my God, that's like, I don't know why.
It didn't work for me, but I did do exactly that thing, get a container and fill it full of stuff, and it was the best time ever. Like obviously it was financially insane thing to do, but it was. If I had the money, I would still have that container.
Yeah, paying £10 a kilo on them on plates.
Yeah. Well, I just shopped. I shopped around. I put out some pleas on Instagram. People actually were helped me out. Fucking Dean White helped me out with the hack, which later you obtained, and people. LA Gym gave me a Smith machine, and Trojan lent out some, and we had a fucking war machine, and it was the simplicity of it was just wonderful.
Yeah,
good times.
Definitely.
I think more like if the question is pushing me towards the last bit, if that was the question, like as in pushing me towards wanting to be a pro, or actually the last bit of trying to get the pro card.
I guess
for wanting. When did it become in grasp and you like fired the gear up that this is actually possible? Last
year, when someone said to me, look, you've got a pro-worthy physique, was when I then, really kind of like pushed for a better off season and to want it more.
Dan, you've got a pro-worthy physique.
Thanks. I think someone said that to me 4 years ago as well.
Oh fuck! I thought that might have worked, and I thought like if I said it, then damn.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm gonna manifest it.
Okay, you gotta have a vision board.
I'm gonna have a vision. If I have a board, in our container we had a board with like the lifts of the people that used it and stuff, and I just had to draw penises on it. That's what happened.
Yeah, but if you put a vision board up behind you, people may fully understand how mental you are.
Like love, live, AIDS, or whatever. You go around someone's house and they've got that, and you're like, no, it's okay.
On the vision board, you just drew loads of penises, and then did you start getting loads of guys inboxing your penises?
I just got a really massive penis.
No, he ended up sending lots of pictures of his penis out to people. That's how we ended up with the guests that we had on this podcast. Funnily enough.
When you're hung like half a prawn, you've got to share it, right?
That's.
I think we need another question.
Well, the questions have dried up a little bit there because a lot of them were taken up in the conversations that we've already had. To be fair, but obviously we were a bit late putting this one up, weren't we? Because we were meant to have you on last week, and unfortunately, some inconsiderate fucker crashed their car, and we couldn't get you on. But
to be fair, that worked quite well because I moved house that day and didn't have internet. So
yeah. So,
but it's still your fault.
A question from me then, really, training styles. Like, I guess for women, there's lots of different ways that people are training, but for you, somebody who's got put on, quite a good amount of quality muscle in a short period of time, what training style are you using? What is there a one size, or are you just judging it as you go?
Yeah, I'm just quite. I want to say like old school of my training. I just do like chest days, shoulder days, or push days, or pull days, leg days. I don't do like. People do push pull legs, or I don't know how you guys train. I would assume you guys quite old school with your training as well. The way
I just lift the fucking weight till it hurts.
literally. So yeah, so that's exactly what I do. Just lift. I just lift weight to failure, and then that's it.
I've had to get a bit more creative around usually injuries. It's the only time I've had to move a bit more linear, and getting a little bit older. Like I've considered strength profiles of muscles, and so I'm not like fucking the joints worse than they are, and like so. But if I could, I would just do blood and guts, Dorian Yates every week forever. That would, if I could pick like something to do, like.
Do you think the industry today, everyone's massively overcomplicated, or everything? What going to training, as we're talking about that. It seems everyone's got the new training program trying to reinvent the wheel, and to me it's just like they're talking about the bullshit to try and make money out of people.
Yeah, we do. I do see a lot of it in the gym. We do see like a lot of young ones coming in through the ranks now, and they've got like, they're not even pushing the plate aside on the Smith machine, and they've got a fucking daisy chain and a band, and you're like, mate, just lift some weight. Just lift some weight. You don't need a daisy chain and a band. What is that for?
I think that there's a time and a place for these things. Maybe if you've got a lagging body part and you need to but why don't you lift heavy the same for all your body parts to start with, to even find out? Branch Warren trained like a fucking asshole for his entire career, but he just felt it perfectly and he didn't have any flaws. Why don't you go and find out where you fit into that puzzle? Go and lift.
A lot of them don't even have muscle yet, and they're still.
How do you know if you've got a weakness if the dude is a bag of tendons?
Yeah,
you don't know yet. And then later on, you can think about doing fucking reversed Swiss anus contractions. I think that there is a place for that and connection and learning connection better and stuff like that. But you might find that you actually connect well and you can just lift heavy shit and grow. Try it first. There's a middle bit in between, isn't there? And then it used to be that everyone lifted too heavy, got spotted from rep 1, and they didn't make any progress. And now people are starting the gym doing 19-second concentrics, and they're not getting anywhere either.
Or leaving 3 reps in reserve.
Oh fuck, reps in reserve. Fuck.
What? No, it's got to fit the training program, Dan. You have to write it down. If you don't write the numbers down, it didn't happen, did it?
But I always log, and I log everything. I log everything, and I logged it right up into my into prep, right into peak week, just so that I know. Mine's more so I can see where I need to improve, or even if I need to deload, or what I did last session, because I can't remember.
Deload? What? Sorry.
Yeah, but only because I need to sometimes take a bit of time off. I can't.
Oh, so you mean take a couple? You mean take
week out from the show?
Yeah, you mean take a couple of extra days off the gym?
Deload to me is just a bit of time off, back off from the gym, and then go again. Not actually I'm going to go in and lift 50% of my weight.
Oh,
no.
Good.
What's the point? Just have the rest, don't it? It's stupid.
Yeah, I literally, if I'm resting, I'm not in the gym. I'm not just going to go in there and pick up a bar.
So back in Dean's day, they used to call that just an extra rest day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna advocate for deloads. Just to throw it out there.
Deloads.
I'm gonna advocate for deloads.
I don't understand it.
I'm gonna advocate.
If you need a rest, have a fucking rest. Don't go and train it. Half fucking train it. What's the point?
Yeah, to be fair, I've managed my recovery really well, so I haven't had to have any time off for a long time, just because I've managed it well now. So I obviously push hard, but I'm also getting all the support that I need as well through obviously my food and sups. So I would say,
do you listen to your body a lot more?
A lot more, loads more. I think more so now in the last 2 years than I ever have done, because I would just push until I was injured and I was battered.
If I listened to my body, I'd never train again.
I
like deloads because if I didn't go to the gym, it would ruin the rhythm. So actually, it's better for me to go and flush some blood round. And what it basically means is I just up the reps and I don't do intensifiers.
Do you think that's more of a mental thing, Dan, that you can't physically take a day off?
Do you not find it
I can take one, but a whole week. I don't know. And also, if I took one, then it would form my next week differently, and I'd have a meltdown. My delivery
and
the
world.
Too much. Your boobs are out a lot. Yeah. Okay.
So it's your text.
Let's just stop the video a second. Jesus Christ!
No, it's all right, Dan. We already saw. It's okay.
I'm painting the wall.
Who are you painting?
We're trying to get more views, Dan.
Someone's painting her.
It's okay. She walked in at the right angle.
She didn't want to get paint on a t-shirt, but directly onto the breast is fine.
Look, the way she walked in, we wouldn't have been able to see her face anyway. It's all right.
That's all right. I'm gonna leave the obvious insult I could throw there because I live here.
You'll hit the door again accidentally. I love that. Right, okay.
Carly, I've got a little question for you. More aimed towards the any females that are listening to this, and especially more bikini girls, new girls coming into the sport, looking at your physique, your glutes, your legs are crazy. They're huge. So how did you build them? What do you do for them? You do some little 2 kilo kickbacks or some little bands?
Yeah, I do donkey kicks, crab walks. No, I just fucking train them hard.
What exercises would you do?
So a lot of people do ask me, they're like, oh, I bet you squat really heavy. And I'm like, no, I don't squat really heavy. I do multiple exercises. So not reverse lunges, so rear elevated split squats, walking lunges, leg press, just all leg exercises, but I go through a lot of rep ranges as well. So I'll use, 6, 8s, 12s, but I'll also do 30 reps with 30. So for instance, I could do leg press for 30 reps and then do 30 walking lunges with that as well. So I feel like that for me has got, I don't know if it has got, because I've been a spinning instructor for a long time. I was a spinning instructor for 15 years and I would spin and do that sometimes twice a day for 4 days a week. So I don't know whether
that really helped your quads.
Yeah, 100%. And I was a exercise to music instructor as well. And I don't know if you've heard something called body pump.
Yeah.
So I would squat for 5 minutes with 30 kilos on my back at different tempos for 5 minutes. And I'll do the same with lunges. And I don't know whether the variation of that constant tension over those years, because I've never ever thought, I just want to get massive legs and then trained legs to get massive legs. I just have massive legs.
Accidentally woke up and had massive legs.
Yeah, exactly that. What I'm saying is I never some people are like, right, I want to get massive shoulders. I'm going to go in now, train them and get massive shoulders. Mine have just been, I genuinely think mine have been a byproduct of me doing that, because I've only ever had like 1 leg day a week. It's not as if I've...
Dan, on your notepad, you've got, on your notepad there, you need to take up spin instructor, yeah? Leg day tips.
Chris Hoy did it. Well, I say Chris Hoy, but he did it, but
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. So just a lots of like heavy weight to failure, but using all different various exercises. Definitely no kickbacks and bands with 2 kilos.
I've always found for legs that most people kind of respond better in a higher rep range. And I've always gone as heavy as I fucking can and as many reps as I can. And people say, how can you go heavy and high? You do drop sets, you do fucking super sets, you do giant sets. And I've always done that, and they've responded.
That's how I train as well. That's exactly how I train. And I think that's definitely where I've got my growth from my legs from.
It shows on stage. You don't see, unless they're very genetically gifted. You look at somebody like Tom Platz when he first went in the gym, and he was squatting, and everybody in the gym was around him saying, you're doing it wrong. What you're doing too much. It's too many reps. And he was just like, I love fucking squatting. And then he walked out with the biggest fucking, some of the best legs you'll ever see, ever.
Yeah,
it's wrong.
But he didn't squat very often.
Although when he did,
although it's like, if you listen to his talks and stuff, although he was a really great squatter, it wasn't programmed in all the time.
But not just squat. I mean, all of what he did in it, all of his exercises.
When I'm watching him, he's doing the fucking leg extensions, and he's like, "Kelly!" and the machine's like hopping around. I'm like, and then he gets someone to like jump up and down on it. I'm like, "Well, mate, my tendons, no."
I think, to be fair, like the doing the spinning and the body pump probably gave me the ability to be able to withstand lactic acid. So when I did train my legs, I was then able to train them at such a high intensity. That's probably where like that helped me, I expect. So
I believe a lot into epigenetics, as in you're born with the genetics you are, and you're going to have, everyone's distributed different muscle fibers over the body, and some have a lot more fast twitch than others, and you're going to have parts that grow faster than others. But I find from a young age, I always smashed my legs. I was a runner, and then I did a lot of martial arts, and then it was always legs in the gym, legs. And even when I was doing everything wrong, I think that foundation changed my body. And my body just adapted to that and got used to it, to that kind of battering it, and they responded. So when people say, oh, that's wrong, how do you fucking know when your body's always adapting?
Yeah. You just got to train to, I guess, if I just normally do something for a certain amount of time, and if you assess it in like 3 months' time, it's not working, then you move on and try something different. But that's why I try to cover all of the rep ranges as well. So
well, did you try the banded kickbacks and the 2 kilo dumbbells? So how do you know if they work if you haven't tried it? Just think how big your glutes would be if you did some of them.
I think we'll wait for
maybe
that.
I should programming them in.
Yeah, we'll wait for that on your Instagram post. Yeah, tag us in it.
Will do.
Right. So what we do, look, it's obviously our podcast recently been quite long, so I'm trying to keep this one to a bit less, just so that people actually watch them to the end.
Which we've not managed. At all.
Yeah, we've failed miserably at doing that. But anyway, 5 top tips. You know the drill. I don't know if you've watched ever to the actual end of our podcast.
Yeah, I've watched to the
end. So you should already be.
No one has ever got 5 top tips.
No, I know,
true.
but
it's true.
So I'm like, why do they ask for 5? No one's ever got 5.
I've never even thought about adjusting it. That's a very good point. I've never thought. We should do. Yeah, maybe we could do 3. You're right. She's a fucking think tank. I can't take it away from her.
But the problem is she's had time to prep for this, so she should have 5.
She's got 10. Let's go.
We'll take what you've got.
So I think I've got like probably more like a bodybuilding kind of one, and then just like a. So I would say for anyone, because obviously people are going to be bodybuilders watching this, if you are going to think about doing a bodybuilding prep or you want to do a competition, always invest in a coach to do an off season first, because you're never ever as muscly as what you think you are after the diet for the first time. Never ever. And then invest in a posing coach as well. Yeah, and that's probably it for that one, because you know there's so many people that get up there and the posing is just letting them down on like when they get up there, they've got incredible physiques, but it's the posing. So a coach doing off season and a posing coach as well. That's more like the dieting side, like the bodybuilding side of it.
And for those who can't afford it, like, and I'm not a good poser, but there is so much material there. Video
so not even necessarily a coach. Like YouTube channels, there's so much content out there nowadays that people are throwing out.
There's this really cool website I've heard about. It's called something like joinourlegion.com. It's only £10 a month, and they got posing and everything on there. I think everybody should go and join it.
Plug.
Link in bio.
That was a shameless plug, that was.
That's good. We'll allow it.
Okay, so that's technically 2. Employ a coach
we'll
for the off season, and then you've got posing as well. And the off season thing, I think, is prevalent, even more so to me at the moment, because I am having to live on dust because we haven't started in a very high spot. So it's we run out of resources, which means if you don't have an off season with a coach and they can't get you to a high baseline, you end up having to live on fucking dust.
I managed to get my calories right up to like 3,500. At one point, I was dieting on 2.9. My lowest calories last year was probably 2.5. I was dieting on that, and I got in insane condition just from being able to build up my calories so high, rather than dieting on like 800 because you haven't even done an off season.
Yeah, but imagine what your output is. Your existence, your output is going to be insane.
Yeah. To be fair, it is. Like my steps daily are like 20,000 steps, 25,000 steps a day.
It's simple, really, isn't it? Like the key to fat loss is getting your metabolism as high as possible. The more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism goes. Doing hours of cardio and starving yourself is going to lose a tiny bit of muscle, which is going to make your metabolism crash. So you're going to have to eat a lot less. So you can get to a point like where you was. You're eating crazy amounts of food and still losing fat because your metabolism is now like a furnace. Crazy how much you can actually eat.
Yeah, so that's what I mean about the off season, and just getting off season and actually getting under some weight and get some calories in there. So that's definitely, I think a lot of people just go in and they just like, oh yeah, I want to do a diet and I want it. They just wither down to nothing.
The other thing you said, which I relate to with so many past clients and people I've seen in the gym, which is really important, is people think they're so much bigger than they actually are.
They diet down.
Yeah, when they lose the fat and the water and they see their weight coming down, they're like, no, I've lost muscle.
They end up being a very small version of themselves. Yeah.
And they're delusional.
It's the typical, oh, my mate used to be like you, but bigger. And it's like, yeah, but I never go above 12% body fat. Like your mate's literally just in the pub. Like,
yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
But well, here's the thing for the people watching this going, you're not as big as as you think you are. When you're actually in shape and you're on stage, you will look bigger again.
Yeah.
When you're actually, but if you do that middle bit of, oh, I'm losing muscle, I better be a pussy and not quite pull off the look, then you will look small and shit. Like, you look flat and you look small, but if you're actually in condition, when you actually get under the lights, you will look bigger again. If you get worried that you're losing muscle and then put the brakes on or start making stupid decisions, then you'll look not in condition and smaller than you would have done if you were actually in shape. Yeah. And I see quite a lot of people look like that's happened. They got to a certain level of condition, think that they're actually losing muscle, they're not. And then they look smaller than they would have done if they'd have just got leaner, even if it is 10 pound down.
How many times have you seen it when they're like around more like 7-8% body fat, and they're like, oh, there's no fat, it's just a bit of water, till they leave it to the last minute, just take a load of diuretics to get the water out, and now they're fat and flat on stage and they look fucking atrocious. It happens so fucking often because people are just scared to diet. They're scared to lose a little bit more weight. Like, for example, Carly, what did you weigh on stage?
I was probably 72 after carb up, 72 kilos.
Yeah, everyone looking at this now, 72 kilo, it sounds nothing now. When you look at Carly's pictures on stage, she looks fucking huge because there's no fat on it. It's all illusion.
You look massive on stage, but when you see you're actually not that big.
Well, that's real muscle. That's what 72 kilo looks like when it's pure muscle. People just don't understand that. They look at you and think you look like 90, 95. You're huge. It's illusion, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so give us one more then. Otherwise, we are literally, because these we are going down rabbit holes. And we.
Am I really dark on screen, or is it all right?
Oh, I can still see you. I'm dark. My screen's.
I know it sounds. This is probably going to sound really cheese as well, me, but it's probably because I'm a female as well. But it's all about like adopting, just being like happy. I'm damn sorry. I know. It's about being like, I'm just around so many people that just fucking moan all the time about everything, the relationship they're in, being on prep, being in I think because I am a happy, positive person, and I always try to find happiness in everything, or some kind of positivity in something, just do what makes you happy. And if it doesn't fucking make you happy, stop doing it. Cut those people out. I think that's like a life thing for me. And I always try to be like that with my friends as well, and try and kind of like influence people like that around me, and just try and just give. And a lot of people do say that oh, actually you have like this really kind of, you're always really happy and you always try and find the happy side of stuff.
What if being miserable makes you happy?
Then you're just horrible.
I just think there are different ways of expressing, and I just think that happiness is within, and somehow how it's exuded into the world is different.
Sometimes when Dan's like this,
you won't see me
static on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that you're not happy, but I'm like,
right now, I'm ecstatic.
That's what I mean. So brilliant. Keep doing it.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
Johnny is definitely not.
I'm not. I'm really not.
There's like nothing worse than just being around people that are just moan about something. Like they're moaning about their misses,
No,
or and you're just like, just don't be with them.
Oh yeah,
don't
no.
go to that job that you hate. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Even when Dan's being miserable and when I'm being miserable, we don't moan about people. Like we do like a little bitch in the group, but that's just in general. That's
like banter. There's banter, isn't there?
Come on,
I don't mind.
We were having a full-on rant about everybody yesterday in our little group.
Let's not open that kind of.
I mean, the people that I deflect out of my life are victims. Like, not people that are actual victims, but the mentality of a victim. The ones that moan, it's all happening to me, it's happening to, and they have opportunities to change their circumstances and don't. I think maybe that's what we're talking about there.
Absolutely.
Is go and try and switch up. Like,
I think as well, you slowly adapt and become your surroundings, whatever you're around. So Carly's got an amazing point there, and what she's doing is what everyone should be doing. Because if you're around these fucking miserable people, you will start to become very fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Very, very good tip.
Soul suckers. That's what they're called. The soul suckers.
Yes. The positive vampires.
Indeed. Right. On that bombshell, I am going to take the opportunity to wrap it up, guys. Because thankfully nothing obscene has been said. I don't even have to edit this one. I can chop.
Fucking shit, fucking cunt bastards.
I can go to the end and chop.
COVID.
But thank you, Carly. I appreciate it.
Russia, Ukraine, Russia, COVID.
We'll get you back on when you're prepping for the next one, just to get some updates and see how things are going.
Thank you for inviting me. I do at the moment feel, and I had it at the Arnold's, like a massive imposter syndrome, and I was like really nervous about coming on because I just feel like it's just.
You mean the only IFBB pro amongst us was nervous to come on our B-list podcast? Yeah.
Like when I was at the Arnold's, I was like, oh my god, this is so weird. I just
bitter old men slagging everyone else.
In a happy way.
In a happy way, absolutely. Right then, guys, have a lovely evening. We'll have a catch up soon.
Thanks for coming on. Big
Thank
love,
you, guys. Take care, Carly.
British bodybuilding.
Bye.